Today we're going to talk about a dirty word, a word our culture really doesn't like. In fact, if I wrote a book about it, they'd probably try to ban it. Because it's a word that makes you immune to their manipulations, to their power, to the fear and outrage and overconsumption they need you to engage in so that they can win at your expense. And it might just be the most underrated business strategy of all time. So what is this word? Sufficiency. Or enoughness. Finding it inside you and knowing how to use it to build a sustainable business. And I'll prove it. I used exactly this strategy to help one of my clients go from losing money on her online course to actually making $78,000 in just under 3 months.
Which is crazy because it was so hard to sell a much less expensive product.
Keep watching because I'm going to share the exact tweak that we made. First, we have to name the lie in order to combat it. What are we supposed to want? More. More clients, more money, more visibility, more. And there's nothing like discovering you've been had after you've paid 25 grand to be in a mastermind with other 7-figure business owners. I don't mean had like they cheated me. This was worse. I remember sitting in this $25,000 mastermind and this woman next to me had the perfect practice. She worked 3 days a week, made high 6 figures, and had the best life. But in that room, she started questioning, should I open a second location? Should I franchise? Am I playing too small? And there was this other dude bragging about his expanding real estate empire, except 6 months later, he was divorced from his spouse and business partner. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there having shut down my $2.4 million company due to illness and feeling like an abject failure. And I was in that really uncomfortable place of not knowing what was wrong with my body and not having a vision for what I wanted to build next. Honestly, if I didn't have a business and I didn't even have a vision for one, then what the heck was I doing in that room? But being on the outside gave me a perspective I didn't have before, a perspective on just how messed up the game was. I just want to point out, these were good people, really smart people, but they were trapped in a system that encourages more without asking any supporting questions. And it wasn't subtle. We were literally told that it was a moral imperative to have more. By wanting more, we were actually doing the world a favor, creating progress, expansion. And while I can't argue with the fact that progress is often made with wanting more or imagining better, part of the conversation we never had in those meetings was more for whom? More at what cost? And who was going to pay? Because man, I have spent a jaw-dropping amount on training and education, and not once has anybody ever asked me, how will you know when you have enough? In fact, that word enough is more taboo than sex. It's like dirtier. Like if you even thought it, you were settling, giving up, spitting in entrepreneurship's eye. So now, as a business owner who didn't know what was next, I sat there struggling with this question alone. My first big surprise about sufficiency, it's not about having less ambition. It's about recognizing that your creative urge will never ask more of you than you already have. Instead of constantly striving for more, sufficiency invites you to notice what you already have to give that energizes you instead of depleting you. To turn inwards for answers instead of constantly accumulating more information. And to give generously from what's already working. This doesn't mean that you stop growing. It means you grow from a place, a recognition of your own value, which for most of you is exactly what your own clients need to see modeled. How does this all work in practice? Let me give you a concrete example. I had a client called Jen who was frustrated because the do-it-yourself PR course that she'd put together wasn't selling well. And so she was burning money on ads that weren't converting despite the fact that she had a beautiful sales page and professionally shot videos. Listen and hear the difference. Scarcity says, oh, something's not working. Work harder, try harder, spend more, do better. But Jen and I were working together and we listened to the voice of sufficiency. The question we asked was what's already working that feels easy to you and valuable to others. In Jen's case, it was recognizing that she was super passionate about building systems in her already successful PR agency. And what her audience was already signaling to her was that they wanted her help in building their own PR agencies that would be successful. She had the expertise, the signal was already there, but somehow in following all the gurus, she had missed it until we used the lens of sufficiency.
But I'm getting on these calls, I'm walking through your process, and the people I'm speaking to are like having major transformations just from the hour on the phone with me, crying, realizing where they're stuck and begging me, like, what do I do? Help me. How do I fix this? I never thought of it. Like everyone says, I never thought of it like that. You hit the nail on the head. These are the things people are saying.
Goosebumps.
I mean, seriously. And I'm literally just like, I've got my, it's not a script. I'm not walking through, it's a flow. And I'm walking through your flow and people are like, what do you have? How do we fix this? And I'm getting, how much is it? It doesn't matter. I want it. Whatever it is, I want it. Which is crazy because it was so hard to sell a much less expensive product.
All this really exposes is our culture's lie that when something isn't working, you should try harder, spend more, double down. That better ads are somehow the answer. And look, I'm not saying that improving your ads doesn't help. Of course it does. But if you feel like you're burning out, you're almost guaranteed to be using the lens of scarcity rather than sufficiency. And that change of lens, that change of focus might help you get where you want to get with a lot less effort. Sufficiency is what gives you the confidence to build what you really want to run. And it is so much easier to be consistent and show up day after day in a business where you're actually doing what you want to be doing. And if you, like so many of us, are feeling the futility of doing business as usual and you're looking for a better way, check out the links in the description. And if you're already on your path and are honing in on your truth, I highly recommend this next video where you can look at how to become really successful even if you're not the best in your industry.